Welcome everybody to another Voice of Nick show. We're doing more of our Posthomerica stuff. And we're currently polishing off the artwork for, I keep wanting to say Briseus. This is Cassandra. We were about to do the under layer, but I just wanted to do a quick pass and correct any issues with the line drawing. So that, for example, I specifically wanted to make sure that her leg, you can see the form in her leg here. There's a couple rogue lines that I don't think really serve well. These ones as well. Where's our under layer thing? Yeah, so if we did maybe like a little line right here, and then stuff, because this part is definitely, you can see that it's like exactly up against the cloth, so it would be tugging on the fabric. Yeah, that's good. Oh wait, no, we just got rid of that line. The other thing too is that even though this anatomically matches what we were doing at the time, I think we have to move this to be more like that. Okay. And what was the other thing that I wanted to fix? Oh yeah, there's some lines in here. So let's just pay attention to let's let the cloth speak for itself here. There are some places where it doesn't really make sense, such as right here. I also don't really like, I don't really like this. So we're just gonna let the cloth go all the way down. We'll assume if there is somewhere that it's tied, it is just out of sight. Doesn't really matter that we see the thing that's tied. Okay. Uh-oh. Why is this not making a mark? Fix that. Good. And what else? The rest of the cloth looks pretty much correct. We'll fix this tiny little spot here. I like the idea of this, oops, being one connected line. And if so, I think we're gonna remove, actually even if not so, we're gonna remove a little bit of this. Yeah. Otherwise, we'll clean up this a little bit. It's a little scratchy. other than that, I think we're good. Great. Okay, now we fill this in. Lose that. Welcome, Plot King. How you doing, Plot King? We're filling in our newest figure, which is Cassandra. And that marks 5 people in the frame and 1 structure, or 5 humanoid figures, 1 being a statue, but it's still the same thing. And 1 structure. We need 1 more person after this, which is Aeneas, and then we have the whole composition. There's another aspect I'd like to add as well, which we kind of sketched out at the beginning, and that's the crumbling blocks of the actual border, which is 1000% anachronism. But I think it would be a really cool way of communicating just how destructive the stuff is, the situation is at Troy. So we're gonna do this. And let's just take a quick look at the Athena statue. Yeah, so should have checked that earlier. Okay, let's get rid of this layer. It's gonna be a little bit complicated to accomplish now. I really should have checked that before. Oh, okay, hold on. We got a interesting prospect here because both of her feet are too high. So let's do this. Take these, put them all in a group. Wow, how lucky is that? It actually works out so that it still fits perfectly if we just move her down a little bit. Great. I also want to change her expression here. Hold on, so first let's get rid of the Athena statue. I want to change her expression. Where's her head? Here. Just a little bit so that she's looking up towards Ias. Okay, we averted disaster. It wouldn't have been the biggest problem in the world, but it'd just be really annoying because we already drew all these like very intricate cloth folds. We would have to like reconnect them and do a lot of cleanup work. It looks like we lost or we made a little rogue mark here. Where is that? Here? Yeah. Now for her hair, we have to do this outside the lines a little bit because we're not going to be able to see her black hair against the black background if we don't put a white background behind that. Let's just connect the parts we already did. Okay, now for this, we're just gonna make it extrude a little bit, and that should be enough to do what we want it to do. And we actually want to color in the sections that exist like under the black, because you'll notice that see a little orange dots show up when you do that, because not by design, not all of the black is completely colored in. I try to keep it a little bit chalky so that you can see these little dots come through. Good, that should work. Okay. Now her arm is going behind the statue here, so we want to just make sure that, let's turn on the Athena statue real quick. Yeah, her Cassandra's layer is actually above the Athena layer, so we have to make sure that we just draw it right up to the edge, but not go any further, because it'll draw right over this one. Okay. Good. Let's get rid of Athena for a minute. Looks like there's some weird line right there. We're gonna get rid of that. No, it's not a piece of hair. Okay. Okay. Now, miss this little section. Alright, I'll get rid of any of the rogue strokes. I want to get rid of this little black, this really thin black line that shows up here. Sometimes that stuff doesn't appear until you put the underneath color in. Then you can see where it, is looking weird. Okay, so that's good. Now let's turn on Athena. Turn off this temporary layer. Delete that. Okay, she's looking good. The thing I didn't realize is that she's actually in front of the Athena statue, so we don't need this outline of her hair in these spots. Let's see about that, actually. I might still use it. Yeah, I kind of like it, actually. I'm going to leave it. It differentiates pretty well. So let's turn on the background for real background. And so Cassandra is like huddled up against the Athena statue, sort of metaphorically and literally, because she's sort of clutching to the Athena statue as a priestess of, you know, Athena, but also, and for, you know, asking for help, sort of, but also, you know, bracing for the actual fighting with Aias the Lesser. Let's see if there's any rogue stuff that shows up now that we're on the black background. Not really. Most of it is actually in front of the statue, so it doesn't reveal any issues, really. The one thing, maybe I would flatten her foot where it goes on the stair. And we'll put black there. Whoa. Oh, this is bigger than normal. This is some layer that I don't know what layer this is. I don't know. I think we're fine. It's got to be on Cassandra's thing, right? Nope, it's on the Athena statue. It's not that. It's not that. Oh, it's the spear? Nope, it's not the spear. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's some other layer that's not a part of this. I don't know, it's fine. Anyway. We'll also, while we're here, we'll fix her other foot so that it sits properly. Okay. I don't mind that Aias's foot looks like that, because he's kind of like in a defensive posture. Let's move him slightly down, though, now that we're looking at it. It doesn't matter, because all this is going to move once we put the borders in. But for now, maybe we'll tilt him a little bit. Okay, so that is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 figures and the structure thing. I really like the way it turned out. Cassandra was essentially a totally, most of these figures we had some basis of what to do it from. Like I used parts of the head and the torso from another Greek figure for one of them. Neoptolemus is very heavily drawn. I made my own armor and stuff, but his face and posture and stuff is taken from a piece of Greek art. Aias, very similar costume and face and head, and then I sort of posed him in my own way. But Cassandra and Athena, these two are just like completely my own. Except for very small portions of like this little piece of Athena's robe is something. This is from a totally different style of Greek art that I adapted to fit into this. Cassandra, I don't think there's a single element from her that that I didn't invent. So that's the way it goes. Sometimes you sort of kit bash people into a picture, and sometimes you're just using your own designs to make it feel like it exists with those other pictures. But it's not always about just like making every single thing from scratch. The thing they say is that a good artist gets inspired, but a great artist steals, or something like that. All any artist ever does is steal in one way or another. So now we're going to do Aeneas. Not that I'm saying I consider this to be stealing, but we're all standing on the shoulders of giants, as they say. Nobody comes up with a completely original idea. So we're going to sort of change this design a little bit. I don't like what we had for that. So he has a costume too. So we're going to do his anatomy first. Then we'll draw the costume in. And his arm is, I think, too long, so I'm just going to... What's that, his right hand? If he's in a fist. Okay. Why am I seeing this differently? If his fist is going like this, okay. And I'm just going to take this and move it like that, I guess. And we'll probably thicken his forearm a little bit. Man, we're really going to the edges with this picture. We stuffed the frame full of characters and events and buildings and stuff. This is sort of the... Weirdly, this is kind of the climax of the story, chapter 13, even though there's 14 chapters. Because the 14th one is like the Greeks leaving Troy after they've already won. And it's kind of like in the Odyssey, how like the story ends way before the story actually ends, like there's that weird sort of like tangent chapter where like they all come out to like try and fight with Odysseus and like make a war against him, and there's all this weird stuff that happens like after the events of the story that from what I've read, certain scholars think might not even have been a part of the story, but was like made by other poets, and just now considered to be part of the Odyssey. But yeah, this is definitely like the climax of the narrative of the whole Troad, the Trojan saga. And so we want to make it as big as we can. Okay. And Aeneas has a similar kind of like, he's basically naked. Like Cassandra's got this flowing robe that's partially covering her. Aeneas is only covered by this little incidental piece of cloth that's hanging over him. So it definitely, it happens on both sides. Nobody's safe from the Greek art style. Okay, we might broaden his shoulders a little bit. And also, it doesn't really make sense that he's running using the same arm to pump that he is to, that he's using the leg. He would use the opposite arm from the leg that's stretching out, but I just think it fits the frame better, because if this arm's going in front, so we're overlooking that that aspect. Although maybe we could, hold on. No, we can't really do that. Like, as if this was his front leg. You'd have to be turning at that point. It's too extreme of an angle. It's fine. Good. So we're working on Aeneas now, our final figure. After that, we'll get a little bit of the border in. And that's chapter 13, ladies and gents. So that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you for joining. The channel is called The Voice of Nick. If you want to see more, don't forget to hit the follow button, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Have a great day.